Hey guys, so this is the time of the campaign where we're going to walk through the collection. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each style, talk about the colors, the actual style itself, and what's most important. I know that a lot of you want to see what the different tones of browns, the different avios, the oceans, what everything kind of looks like when it's compared side by side. And we're in a room here where we have sunlight coming in on both sides, so you're going to get a more feel of what the natural color of the shoe is. Of course, always depending on the lighting, even when you're wearing the shoe, it's going to change a little bit. But at least this gives you a better idea than just the pictures that you're seeing. One important thing to note is that for certain styles, we do have some colors out at different firms. So I'm not going to have every single color that you see in the campaign, but I am also going to show you some colors that we plan to release over the next year, probably through our site after Kickstarter. So this is kind of going to be a sneak peek plus going over what's in the campaign. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it, and we're going to start with the Lucas. So the Lucas are a stylized cap toe, and the reason I call it a stylized cap toe is because almost kind of like a long wingtip. You see this part of the body over here just kind of continues all the way to the back. And one of the biggest reasons that I did that was I wanted more opportunities to play with color combinations and kind of make the shoe pop a little bit more. So obviously we have our traditional black over here, where it doesn't pop as much, but it's still a beautiful, really versatile color and shoe. And then we can go into something that's a little bit more non-traditional, let's say. It's got three different colors. This has a dark brown on it, a brown, and also a cuoyo. And you can see over here that you can see kind of the distinction here between the dark brown and the cuoyo. So this is one shoe where you get to see all three at once. And I'm going to pick this up immediately and show you the difference between these browns and then a cognac tramonto. And one thing I do want to mention about the tramontos is that it's not a really crazy black dark area over here. So it's actually a really subtle finish. It's meant to be elegant and classy, not something that's going to be too ostentatious and pop out. But it's something that if you know it's there and you know the handwork and you know the quality and the craftsmanship that went into it, it's something that you really appreciate. And you can see a little bit over here what that looks like going all around the shoe. And you can see, you know, this here we have a cognac, which is a little bit more reddish, and here you have three different tones of brown. And you can kind of see the contrast over here. We have the sunlight hitting it over here from the right side, so it pops it a little bit more. And then we're going to get into the ocean. And the ocean is a little bit different than the avio that we've had in previous seasons. The ocean's what I like to say a little bit more of an electric blue, and the avio was a little bit more pastel-y. And I'm going to have an opportunity with some other styles to show you the oceans right next to the avio, and then I'm going to bring all the different blues and the browns together as well. And here we go with a wine and a cuoyo. So you may notice something with that the cuoyo over here is going to look a little bit different than the cuoyo on the top over here. And that's because one of the things that the artisans do is they'll change the tonality of the shoe a little bit to match the other colors that are on it. So if this cuoyo was on this shoe, it's going to be a little bit more pop than what I intended to do. On the other hand, over here where the wine and the cuoyo, this is something that was intended to really pop harder. So you're going to see a little bit difference in tonality depending on other colors on the shoe. And just to show you, one of the things that we get asked a lot is the difference between a Diablo and a cuoyo. So this is this Luca in a Diablo in dark gray. And this is not something that we have released yet. This is something that's going to be forthcoming. But you can see over here already the difference between the wine and the Diablo. And the wine is a little bit of it's not really a bright red, but it's a little bit less dark than the Diablo. Here you can see them side by side. Let's get some good shots over here. I'll give you a good idea. And of course, this is just an example of one of the things that we're going to be walking through in this video, showing a lot of different colors that we haven't released yet. And here we're going to be going into, this is an all brown. All brown, this is also, I believe it's not in the campaign. I think we ended up going with the cuoyo, which I don't have the sample of. And here again, you get to compare it with the tricolor shoe. This is all brown, and the brown over here on the tricolor is this middle part. And of course the toe of the shoe is going to have a little bit of burnishing on it, so it's not going to be exactly the same as the body. But there you get to see the differences. And then another shoe that we didn't release in this campaign is a black with a smoke gray. And again, this is another example of just giving a little bit of pop but still making it elegant. It's the differences over here, you don't really see it too much in real life, but it's again something that looks really cool, especially in the right lighting and with the right outfit. Alright, next up is the Betto. And Betto is a wingtip with a lot of broguing on it, and it's an Oxford. So it's usually considered more of a casual shoe. And here we go with the Betto in Ocean Antique. And again, this is a little bit more of an electric blue than an Avio. And you can kind of see how nice and vibrant this color really is. Going all around it. We got it in the brown with blue suede. You can get some of that light sunlight hitting on it over there. See how the brown is. And again, when it comes to mixing materials, and colors, you kind of change the tonality a little bit as needed so that the shoe looks good. And this is a brown antique. And here we have something that we're getting a lot of questions on, the Cuoio Paolo. And the Cuoio Paolo is a version of Cuoio, but you'll see compared to, and here I'm going to bring in the Nico in Cuoio. And you see that the difference between these two Cuoios is that the Cuoio Paolo actually has a lot of streaking in it. So the Paolo really is almost like a sort of patina. And it's not too different than our usual patina, except that it's a little bit more, has more drastic streaking than our usual Cuoio, which is a little bit more even, with more black and dark tones throughout. And then going into, actually one of my favorite shoes from this campaign is this Betto in dark brown, and Cuoio. And again, you get to see how there's a little bit of a difference in the tonality of the Cuoio on this one, just to make it look really good going with the other three browns. And that's one thing you always have to keep in mind, that this is all done by hand. So the tonality is going to change a little bit, even from shoe to shoe. The same style, same color, depending on the artisan that's going to be working on it. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I say in the video that this is a work of art. It's an individual person's expression of how to color and how to style these shoes. Not so much how to style, but how to color the shoes. And this is a Tramonto. And again, you can see this is a Cognac Tramonto. And you can see the darkness coming through here, but it's not a crazy amount of darkness, right? It's still subtle, really elegant, and it's intended to stand out, but not to the point that it's ostentatious. You can see it all around over here. All right, so one of the things that you're also going to notice is that depending on the style, on the Tramonto patina, the gradients may be a little bit different. Like, so for example, on a Nico hole cut, there's going to be a lot more contrast from dark to light on the top. And that has a lot to do with how much space that the craftsman has to work with. Here on this Betto, there's a lot of broguing, it's multiple pieces of leather, so it's a little bit more difficult to have like one big natural sweep from bottom to top. So that's another thing you're going to be looking out for. And one thing to keep in mind also, all of these samples have been worn by our models, so you may see that they're a little bit scratched up or nicked up, but everything has been battle tested and worn at this point, fit tested, so these have kind of been through a lot for now. Alright, next up we have the Henry, which is a double monk strap with a cap toe on it. And we do have a double monk strap in one of our previous collections, the Kurt. That was a plain toe, which is really cool, and then it's almost like a hole cut, and then it gives you the opportunity to play with one color and just play with the tonality and the variations throughout, the burnishing, the antiquing. But the cap toe kind of gives you the opportunity to play with multiple colors on one shoe and make a little bit of a bolder look. So over here you see the wine with the Cuoio, and we also have the green Nico Tramonto. And I like the Tramonto a lot on these monk straps because the contrast that you get in the darkness over here all the way up to the top, and then you see how just the monk strap is lighter than the rest of the shoe, and it gives it that little pop. It just makes it look that much more different than if it would be like all one single color. And I think that's really cool. And the difference with the Nico green and the green Muschio, which we also have in the collection, is very similar to the difference between Cuoio Paolo and just a regular Cuoio. And has a lot to do with the tonality throughout, the way the artisan works, the streaking, the darkness that you can see throughout the green. And it's very different than, for example, the forest green, which we have on our website right now. And that's just a dark green just throughout the shoe. So really, the difference between the Nico patina and a Muschio is really just the work of the coloring and the patina on it. It's not as different again as the Tramonto. So in the Henrys, we also have the Brandy shoe. And this is a great opportunity to show some of the differences between the different browns that we have. So I'll just move these over here. And so this is Brandy. And I can introduce here also the Henry in Brown. And this is a shoe that was not released yet, but it's something that we will be releasing first to our lease program sometime this year. Similar to some of the other colors that we have yet to release in the Henry and other styles. And here we have a Cognac. And you can see that the Cognac and the Brandy are sort of similar. The Brandy, it's got more red in it than the Cognac does. And then let's bring in a Sienna. All right, and the Sienna is more similar to something like a Cuoio. Except the Sienna is a little bit richer. I'm not sure if you can see it. And the Cuoio is a little bit more of a tan color. It's kind of hard with the burnishing on the whole cut. You see this is Cuoio and this is Sienna. Put them all side by side and bring in also the Beto, which you can see the dark brown. And again, the brown, and Cuoio on the Beto. And there you see all of our browns together to get this into frame, side by side. There we go. Here we have a Cuoio, Cognac, Brandy, Brown, Sienna. So you get to see how they all are a little bit different. And of course, as the artisan creates the shoes and creates the styles, as I said before, there may be a little bit of difference in tonality when it's being combined with another color, or even depending on the artisan, if he's working on multiple shoes, or a different artisan touches the same color, his work is going to be seen on the shoe, and it's going to be slightly different than if another guy would have done it, which is really why I say that this is like a work of art. So each piece is very unique. Now we have the Nicos in front of us, and the Nico is a hole cut. And it's a little bit different than your traditional hole cut, which is just one big piece of leather with no perforations, in that this has essentially a false capto created by the broguing, and also has some decorative broguing along the side of this that gives the shoe a little bit of a, actually gives your eye a little bit of a sense of more style and more styling on the shoe. And this is the Nico in Cuoio. And here we go with the Nico in Diablo, which you can see put next to the Nico in Diablo Tramonto. And you can see the difference in the Diablos. So again, the Diablo Tramonto is going to have the darkness coming from the bottom, going light up to the top, whereas the Diablo is going to be just fully dark throughout. And the Tramonto has that play around the shoe between light and dark, and again, it's just an effect that is really cool in my opinion. And this is also a great chance to see a good representation of what the Ocean Antique looks like compared to a Tony in Avio and Great Pearl. And you see that the Avio is almost more like a pastelly, I'm not sure if that's even a word, but a pastel type blue. And the Avio is a little bit more electric. You can see them here side by side. And what's cool about this hole cut is that it does make it slightly more casual with the broguing in it, but it's still not, I mean, it's not something you could really wear with formal wear, but it's something that you can still pull off with an everyday suit. It just gives it a little bit more character. And here we go in the green Nicola. And again, this is a great way to see really the tonality and the work of the shading throughout the shoe, which is more typical of a Nicola patina than it is of just what would be a green shoe, which would just be the same green throughout, and black is black, went through the Diablo Tramonto. And I don't have here with me the Cuoio or the Cognac Tramonto. And we do have this one which we have not released, which is a dark gray Tramonto. And again, all of our Tramontos will be coming with a matching outsole, matching colored outsole. So Diablo Tramonto is going to have a Diablo outsole, a dark gray is going to have a dark gray outsole, a Cognac is going to have a Cognac outsole, and so on and so forth. And again, this dark gray Nicola is something that we're looking forward to releasing probably over the next few months or the next 12 months or so. And again, our LEAP program, that's really where we're going to be releasing a lot of our new styles and colors first to you guys. And all right, this is it with the Nikos. I know we're missing a couple of colors which are out, as I said. But this, again, one of the biggest reasons for this walkthrough is to really give you an idea of what the different color intonations look like on different shoes, different styles, and one compared to the other. But let's move on now to the next style. Greg, Andre. What's the difference? They're both penny loafers. Greg was from last year, Andre was from this year. So the difference is really in the details. You'll notice that the Greg has a thick top stitch over here, whereas the Andre from this collection has a flat stitch on the front and throughout. The Andre also has stitching across the penny, and the Greg does not. So it's really small details. Those small details make the Andre just slightly more casual, although that's not to say that the Greg is not a casual shoe either. It really is, but it's just a little bit of a difference. And it also, with the Greg, with the Andre, we did some different things in combining colors on the top of the upper and the rest of the body, such as what we did with this weaving Cuoio and what we did with this Cuoio with brown, and same thing, this brown with dark brown. So we were a little bit more adventurous in coming up with these Andres. And then Ocean, which is an updated variation on the Abio with gray that we had last year on the Greg, but this is Ocean with dark gray, and this is Diablo with dark gray, all in the Andre. So also in the Andre, there's a lot more that we created that we did not put in this campaign, and I'm actually holding one of them. This is in a blue suede with an Abio keeper. And this is the update to last year's Greg, which was all blue suede. We also created a chocolate suede with a brown keeper. And again, all of these are going to be released at some point in the future, mostly through our Elites program. And so this is really what you guys have to look forward to. I've probably over the last, since we started Ace Marks, I've easily created 40 or 50 different color combinations and samples that we've never released. So we have a big catalog to kind of go back into and to start releasing lots of different things. A lot of it is a little bit out there, so a little bit more adventurous and a little bit more bold. So especially with our first collection, where I was a little bit, it was still bold, but I was a little bit more careful because I wasn't sure how it was going to be received. But during that time, we also came out with a lot of more bold variations, which of course we're going to be releasing over time. And this is a brown in the Andre. And here we go with the Cognac Andre. And the Andre, the Cognac in the Greg last year was our #1 selling loafer. We did not release it in the Andre this year on Kickstarter, but we will release it going forward. And that's it with the Andres. That's the difference between the Andres and the Greg. I know that's a big question a lot of you had, especially in the comment section. It was answered a few times, but there you get to see it in real life. Not everyone can pull off a Belgian loafer. So when I created the Johnnies, I made sure to make them bold. There's lots of contrasting colors, and I just really had fun with this one because I know it really takes a particular person to pull out Belgian loafers to begin with, and so I just kind of went with that and went all out with them. So you can see over here, and these are actually the ones that were danced with in the Kickstarter video, and you see, so they're kind of worn out. The model literally danced in them for like about an hour on concrete. And this is the dark brown, which is along the edge, Cuoio on the top, and brown on the bottom. Brown on the body, sorry. Here we go with the Diablo with dark gray accents. And actually, I saw a few questions asking why we went with a little strip of leather on the front of the Giannis. That's really kind of traditional in a Belgian loafer. So this is Avio with dark gray. Here we have brown with blue suede, and this is the color combination that we do use a lot on lots of different styles. It's a really popular color combination for us. Black, all black. I don't think we even released this all black on the campaign because again we're kind of going after that bolder look with the Belgian loafers overall. And this is actually one of my favorite Belgian loafers that we have in the collection. It's a cobalt suede with a blue trim, a light blue trim. And this is really cool. Just the color of the suede pops a lot, and I know a lot of you like suede out there. And we do get a question a lot, why don't we do a lot more with suede? We try to keep it as more of an accent piece, the suede, because one of the things that really shows off our artisans' skills and ability is what they can do with antiquing, the burnishing, the dyeing of the leathers. So suede, well obviously there's different qualities of suede, and you can make beautiful shoes in suede. I just don't think that it shows off our capabilities as well as some of our other styles. So I try to keep suede to minimum, but of course I know it's really popular, so I do put some things out there in suede, especially something like this where it's going to really pop and look cool. Green again, and this is a green with a black accent, and this is a green Muschio. And you can see that compared to the green Nicola, it's actually more or less the same shade of green. What's a little bit different is this green Muschio is a little bit more even, not so quite like a just regular antiqued or burnished green, but it doesn't have as much black tonality or brushing as the Nicola does. So that's the green Muschio. Alright, let's talk about the boots. We have in this collection two boots, the Hugo and the James. The Hugo is a beautiful lace boot, which some of you have pointed out in the comments are inspired by actually army boots from about the 1920s or 30s. And what's really cool about these boots is that just almost like a Chelsea boot, you can dress these up or wear them with jeans. And when you're wearing a nice pair of pants, kind of go over the top over here, this front looks pretty dressy. So it's a pretty versatile boot, even though just by itself it may look a little bit more, I wouldn't say rugged, but it looks more casual, but it's a little bit of a sneaky, versatile shoe. Of course, when we make it with suede, like we have here the Koya with the light gray suede, it tones it down a little bit in terms of being able to pair it with something more formal. Similarly, the black with the dark gray suede, which I don't have the sample with me. And then, of course, some black, and this you can kind of just make it work with just about anything. Really nice. You can get a look of it all the way around. And then when it comes to the James, this is the James in brown. And the James is a double monk strap boot with a cap toe. And this is a little bit more of a unique piece. It's something that you have to pair with, I would think, a little bit more. It could be casual, but if done right, you see on some of our models, it looks really good with like a blazer and a turtleneck sweater and a nice pair of slacks. Looks really modern, really classy. And then, one of my favorite colors here is this James in Diablo. Looks super cool. Again, wearing it with I picture this with a black turtleneck, black blazer, and black pants, and just this pop of Diablo on the bottom. I think it's pretty much perfection. And here you go, this is in Sienna. Just take a quick look all the way around. And there you have it, those are our boots. If you want something a little bit more versatile, go with the Hugo. If you want something that's a little bit more different, go with the James, the double monk straps. Either one, great choices, beautiful boots. It's just going to depend what you want to pair with. If you want something that's more versatile, something that's going to be a little bit more bold, but either one can look amazing. Alright, now we've got the Francos. So the Francos are definitely an eclectic shoe. It's got a lot of broguing, a lot of detail, really stylized throughout, medallion toe. It's got a lot going on. It's not the type of shoe that you get as a first shoe in your collection. This is something usually, I'd say 6th, 7th, or 8th shoe. So this is really made for the guy that's got a nice collection of shoes, got his basics covered, wants something that's a little bit more drastic, a little bit more pop, a little bit more eccentric. And I actually like making shoes like that because I can kind of go crazy with them. So this is a wine with dark gray and gray pearl, a nice color combination. We also have the Franco, which I don't have the sample with me. It's still out, the dark brown with Cuoio, similar to the Beto combination. We also have it on the Luca. And here we got the gray pearl with Avio, also a really nice color combination. And same goes with a brown with blue suede. So really all of these again are just if you're looking for something different, something that you want to wear once in a while, or you have that special outfit that really pops, it's really bold, and you just kind of want to add shoes that are going to match that level of boldness. The Francos are for you. That's what they're made for. That's what I'm thinking about when I'm making these shoes. And also these are Kickstarter exclusives. So these are shoes we're not going to release again. So if you kind of like the Francos, you think you're going to like them at some point, this is the one and only chance to get them, because when we make something a Kickstarter exclusive, that's it. We're not going to bring them back again. At the same time, we do have lots of colors. Kickstarter for us is almost like a focus group, a testing ground, where we put out a lot of colors, lots of styles, and then we get an idea for what you guys like, what people want, and then we kind of tailor our collections that we actually put onto our website around that. So not everything you see on Kickstarter is going to be available on our site. If you're thinking of 2 different colors, a particular style, really go for them now, because it may not be available later. And you can take a look even at our last Kickstarter campaign, see the styles that we had on there, and then take a look at what we have on our site now. The reality is that a lot of people go with browns, Cuoios, siennas, brown tones, blacks. So we end up with most of those colors on our website, and then I like to throw in, because I personally like the bolder shoes, so I add in some of the bolder colors and color combinations. So if there's any bold shoes that you like in this collection, definitely pick them up now. Browns and blacks are more likely to show up later. Alright, let's take a quick look at some of our Bluchers, Milo and Tony. Blucher or a Derby, there's some nuanced differences, but nowadays most people consider them most interchangeable. We won't get into that right now, but a Blucher or a Derby usually has an open lacing system, so it's a little bit more accommodating to people that have a high instep or high arches, or may need a little bit more room and a little bit more versatility up on top of the foot. An Oxford, on the other hand, has more of a closed lacing system, and it's going to be a little bit less forgiving in terms of the instep. So if you do have a little bit of a higher instep, you're going to want to gravitate towards a Derby or Blucher. That's not to say that an Oxford wouldn't fit you. It really is going to depend on your particular circumstance. So starting over here with the Milos. Milos are actually, as some of you have pointed out, similar to the Lewis that we had from our first collection. The big difference being that the Milo has 4 eyelets, the Lewis has 5, and traditionally, you know, how many eyelets it had played to the level of formality of the shoe. Nowadays, some people look to that, some people may not as much, but this is just a really nice, plain, straightforward Blucher or Derby shoe. We have it in Diablo, we have it in Cognac, which is a color that the Lewis was never released in, and then we have it in black. So this is a very, very versatile shoe. It's a very classic shoe. It's something that you can really pair with anything. You can dress it up, dress it down, khaki, slacks, a suit even, you know, business suit, whatever it would be. The Milo is going to go with it. And then we have the Tony, which is a Blucher as well, and it's a wingtip. The difference between this Tony and our Vincent from the first collection is really the backside, the second half of the shoe. The Vincent is a full brogue wingtip. There's lots of broguing throughout the shoe, as opposed to the Tony, which just has broguing and decoration and medallion on the front. Towards the back, you'll notice it's a lot simpler. It's just the stitching, there's no broguing. So that's really the biggest difference, and here you see it in a black with a dark gray. And again, that's a backer created color from last collection, from last year. And then this is, actually, let me restate that. This Tony is not something from last year, but this color combination of black with dark gray is something that our backers created during the last collection. It's something that I liked a lot, and so I've made a couple samples in that color combination. And here we go, the Tony with the brown. You can see it over here. This is Diablo, and this is a well-worn shoe. This was used by our models during the photo shoots, as actually most of these have been. And here you see it in Sienna with Cuoio. And similarly, we have it again in a green with Cuoio. And these are a little more ostentatious, a little bit more bold. So again, this is going to be very different what you compare it with compared to something just like a brown or even a Diablo. And Diablo is a really interesting color because it's something that wasn't so common a few years back, but now more and more it's actually seen as a very versatile color, the Diablo, because it's not black, but it actually goes with just about anything that black goes. And it's also can go with lots of things that brown goes. So it's a really cool color. It's something, again, you want to have black and brown in your collection, but Diablo nowadays is pretty much the go-to third color. And you guys asked, or lots of people ask us, what's the difference between Diablo and Oxblood? And there is not much of a difference. I'd say our Diablo is probably a little bit deeper and richer than most Oxbloods that you see out there. Oxblood tends to be a little bit more towards the red. Towards the tonality of it is a little bit more towards the red side, so the Reds family. And while this definitely has red in it, and it's actually made on a red base, dark brown is used to bring out like the richness of the color of the Diablo. So, all right, I wanted to take a minute and talk about our leather outsoles versus our rubber outsoles. So rubber outsoles is going to be an option on any shoe, any dress shoe they choose, also the dress boots, so the James and the Hugo. And the difference between our leather outsole and our rubber outsole, I'm going to go through that. So this you see is our leather outsole, a closed stitch channel. It's a Blake stitch. It's got a rubber insert on the heel. And now let's compare that to our rubber outsole, which is also Blake stitch. You can see the stitching over here on the edge. So it is resolable, just like our leather outsole, and this is all full real rubber, so it's not going to wear through so fast. It's great if you walk a lot through rainy weather, wet weather. In some cities, a lot of people prefer to a leather outsole because of that. It allows for more traction. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that profile-wise, this is our leather outsole. And then you can see here the profile of our rubber outsole. It's very similar. So unless you really flip this over, it's going to be really hard to tell that this is a rubber outsole shoe. It's not thicker, it's not bulkier. It's pretty much the same when you're looking at the profile of the shoe. And that's by design because we don't want to take away from the elegance of the shoe. We wanted to keep that elegance, that look, that leather outsole look. So to anyone just looking at your shoes, it's going to look like a leather outsole, but underneath, you know that you have a rubber outsole creating that traction for you in wet weather. So I wanted to go over that. It is resolable, it is a Blake stitch, just like the leather outsoles. It's just rubber, not leather. That's it. Alright, let's get into the sneakers. So in sneakers we have the Duke, the Baron, and the Maximo. What's the difference between the Duke and the Baron? And the biggest difference is the lacing system. So in the Duke, you see we have what's comparable almost to Blucher or Derby, and we have an open lacing system. On the other hand, we have the Baron, which we have a closed lacing system. So similar to the difference between a Blucher and an Oxford, a Duke is going to be a little bit more accommodating in terms of fit, especially if you have a higher instep. And the Baron is going to be a little bit less so. So they can't get a Baron if you have a high instep. No, it just depends really on your circumstance, your foot, your situation. Both of them are going to be super comfortable. Our shock absorbing system on the insole, of course we made lots of different colors. And the reality is we do have one little problem with these shoes, and it's that we sent out a lot of our sneakers, actually most of our sneakers, to different guys, and we've had a very hard time getting them back. They kind of want to keep them and wear them. So it's a little bit of a problem for us, especially for this video, because we don't have a lot of them here. But I am going to go through the ones that we do have, and one of the things that I do have is a lot of new color combinations, the colored outsoles that you guys asked for, both gum and black. So I'm going to go through a little bit of that. We're going to start off with the Dukes, and this is something that you guys saw already, which is the white, and this is white on white. Again, remember, all of these have been heavily worn by our models. This one is the one that you see the model playing soccer in the video. But this is the Duke in white. Then we have the Duke in Avia with dark gray. And then I actually, when I was in Italy last month, I made the dark gray with the dark blue, which is actually my personal favorite right now. And I made myself a pair of these, so I'll be wearing it. And then we also made a new color which is just all in dark blue, which looks super cool because it's dark, so it doesn't pop too much. It almost looks black, but it's not black, and not even close. It's almost like the ocean blue. And it's a super cool color. It's going to go great with jeans. The white contrasting outsole looks great on it. And this over here is the Cognac with Cuello on a white outsole. And keeping it in the browns, here is the brown with the gum outsole. And the gum outsole is outsole color that you guys had requested. So of course, when we get feedback from you, we immediately get into action and start working on it. So we created this gum one, and we already were planning to release a black one. It's also a color you guys asked for, and this is the Duke Black on Black. We do have pictures on the campaign of Duke Black on a white outsole. Both of these are going to be available in the campaign. I think that everything that I'm showing you guys here is going to be available in the survey. I think some of these you guys haven't seen before, so surprise. Here we have the Duke in dark brown, and this also was not seen before. It's also a new color that I just recently made when I was in Italy. We went through that, we went through this one. We have the gray pearl with Avio, and then we have the Avio with dark gray. Alright, now let's talk a little bit about the Baron. This is a new color Baron that we made. This is a dark blue Baron on a white outsole. Again, this is a completely new color that was not in the campaign before. I just made this last month or so in Italy. And same situation, the Barons and the Dukes. It was hard to get these sneakers back from the guys we sent them out to. A lot of the influencers, the style guys that we work with, they have decided to keep it. Which is a good sign, but nonetheless we don't have it here. And that was just the dark brown over here, which I was showing. And this is the light gray with white and light blue. This is a really cool color combination, almost like Carolina Tar Heels colors, but not exactly. And then here we have the blue with the beige and the red. Actually, this is one of my, I think this is my favorite Baron. I like that it's got a little bit of pop to it, and then the champagne with the beige. Over here. So that's it. Unfortunately, I know we have lots more Barons, but again, we just have not been able to get them back. But you saw the pictures, we'll have it in the lookbook, the catalog. And just to go over again some of the features of these sneakers, we have the really nicely padded tongue over here, nice padding around the collar, really comfortable insole, calfskin leather upper, calfskin lined. And a big question that I see also is whether or not these are resolable. So they're not intended to be resolable, but they are stitched to the upper, which is something that you'll usually only see on higher quality luxury sneakers. Usually sneakers, especially sneakers on this type of outsole, which is a common outsole these days, it's just glued or vulcanized. So this is a stitched up. This is completely stitched upper, and what that does is it's actually more durable. You'll see it lots of times in less expensive, lower quality sneakers that over time over here things start like coming apart. That's not going to happen over here. So this is the Baron, the Maximos. So when we first started thinking about doing sneakers, the Maximos were the first sneakers that we made. So you may have seen these flashed in some of our live streams over a year and a half ago, not a year and a half, maybe about a year, a little over a year ago. They also popped up in a picture in our Instagram feed for very, very split second until we took it down. So this is the first, these were our first samples, our first sneaker samples. These high tops, which we did in lots of different cool color combinations, kind of sticking in line with like bold, doing something different. And just doing things that pop and not something that you're going to be able to find anywhere else. So this is with the brown variations. We did it in the Diablo, the reds with the grays and the blacks. And then we did it, actually this we did a little bit more recently, which is the black with the gray, which of course is a color combination, as I've said multiple times, that our backers had created last year, and obviously I like it. So yeah, so the Maximos, super cool. You'll notice also, because these were some of our first samples, we still didn't have back then, this was before we upgraded to wax laces. This was before we had put the Ace Mark logo over here, the little leather patch. So this was, from this we kind of built up on the sneakers and we started tweaking things. We changed the last a little bit, fixed the fit, So we made some changes and variations, but this is really where our sneaker started with the Maximo, and doing something different, something that pops, something that's super comfortable, and something that's a little bit more exciting than what you're going to find anywhere else. If you see all the different color combinations, that's kind of what we tried to keep going when we started making the low tops, the Dukes, the Barons. We actually made a lot more different sneaker samples. We did some slip-ons, some slides, different variations of lace-up sneakers, perforated, not perforated. I mean, just like I said, we've made 40, 50, 60, if not 70 samples that we've never released, that we hope to, especially with the Elites program as it develops over the coming months, and definitely looking out 6 to 12 months from now, once we fulfill this Kickstarter campaign and just are able to develop everything that we want to develop with A-Sparks. So one of the cool things that's been developing throughout this campaign that you guys have had a front row seat for is our custom patina project. And as you guys have seen, our wood patina come out. We've made a purple patina for McDougal. He inspired this. You guys that were on live stream know exactly what I'm talking about. Matthew Sanders inspired, and we gifted this one to him. Matthew's of course been a great help throughout this campaign. Also came out with this one in the cap toe. This was a Griffin, and then here we go with a two-tone monk strap, and this is a little bit more subtle than the rest of them, but you can see the artwork around the back and especially on the monk strap over here. We also did a Troy boot so far in this green scheme. And we don't even have names for most of these colors and these patinas at the moment. We'll be naming these as we kind of go. But the whole point of this is to really start working with you guys to start developing custom patinas. And especially, I know there's lots of you that already have 6, 7, 8, or 9 pairs of A-Spark shoes and are looking to add like something really special to your collection. Or you guys just like working with custom patinas, like that whole like bespoke experience. And that's kind of what we're looking to start doing, start working with you, with our backers, our customers on an individual level, and start, developing things. If let's say you want, something like this, for example, something really special, we'll work with you. And how we're going to go about doing this is something that we've been developing over the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've spoken a lot about it on the live streams, lots of questions about it from you, lots of emails also coming in, and lots of offers to buy the ones that you've seen. But what we're probably going to do is start testing this whole bespoke and custom patina project. During the survey, we'll probably make just a handful of them available. And what we're really going for is more of an experience. So obviously we're going to develop a beautiful custom patina together, but it's going to be lots of communication between our backers and us directly. Maybe some Skype calls just to go over what you're looking for, what you want to have made. And then it's going to be a completely customized experience. If you want different color variations in it, if you want to make something up, if you're a good artist and you want to kind of present something to us that we can turn into patina, if there's something that you've seen that you like and you want a variation of it, whatever you'd like to see on a custom patina shoe is what we're going to make happen. So we're really going for that overall, really like personalized experience that you'd find only with a luxury brand. And that's it. And I think that you guys had a front row to see how this develops, and here's another one that we've done. I think we have about 5 or 6 more in the works right now that we've commissioned, and we'll show it to you guys as soon as we have them available, of course. But we're really excited about this, and of course engraving, personalization, customization, that's really one of the things that we want to do, especially with our Elites program, and bring it out to you guys first. And then just take it from there, see how it goes, work together, and hopefully an experience that you guys enjoy. I know we're going to enjoy it, and so we're really looking forward to putting this out there for you. Something they're going to find in the survey that we're making available for the very first time are accessories like the Weekender bag that we've shown during live streams, and also card holders, wallets, and iPad cases. I'm going to go through those as well, and you're going to be able to get them in any color that we make our shoes available in. So if you want it to be dyed in Diablo, make it in Diablo. If you want it in brown, we can make it in brown. Dark brown, Cuoio, Sienna, any color that we make our shoes and belts in, we're going to be able to make each one of these accessories in. So let's just get right into it. So first over here, we're going to have our wallet, and this is really nicely done. Again, you can dye it and burnish it as you like. And you can see here the stitching, the work on this wallet. Really nice leather stitching, lots of nice details on it. And on the inside, you can put cards, on both sides, and then you have a bill holder right in the middle. So it's a really nice piece, really luxurious feeling and looking and smelling, of course. And we also have the card holder. You can see over here. And these are all minimalist, real sleek, thin, slender designs. So you can see over there, it's actually really, really thin. And here you can see the stitching on this, the details on it as well. And just to give you an idea of exactly how thin it is, this is about 3 millimeters. Let's see it over here. See if we can get that into focus there. So it's really, really slim. And next we have, and here it is actually in black also. This is the wallet in black. And then we also have the card holder in black. And of course you can get this again in any color that we make our shoes in. And here is our iPad case. Also really nice work. And this is something that we're considering also making available as part of our custom patina project, where you'd be able to do something really cool over here, light, some shadowing around the side. There's really lots of possibilities, and that's something that we're gonna work on and probably ask you guys to see if you're interested in it. But here you go, this is my iPad. It's in here really nicely. Zips up. Really nice details on, we can focus in there, on the hardware, the leather. And then let's take a peek inside. So the only place that this has a logo is on this inside patch of leather. And this is a textile material on the inside. It won't scratch your iPad. And then the measurements on this, so you guys can see. This is in inches. It's about 11 3/4 inches by about 7 3/4 inches. Fits in an iPad nicely. It's got a little bit of space. If it's an iPad nicely, it's got a little bit of space left over as well. So if you want to put some other things in here, you'll be able to do that. And this is the Weekender. So the Weekender, same thing. You'll be able to dye this to whatever color you want. Anything that we make our shoes in, we can make this in. And it's got this nice pocket right over here in the front, which I like to use for cell phone. Fits nicely, easily accessible if you're traveling. Put your passport in here. Anything that you want to have really handy fits right in there. Also here, let me just get the close-ups. You can focus in on the nice detail work, on the handles as well. Let's see if I can get that in. Get that focused. There we go. Just take a look at the zippers. And let's take a look inside of this. And the duffel is about 19 by 11 by 9, so it's 19 long, 11 high, and about 9 wide. Alright, this is black inside, so it may be hard for the camera to see it. But again, no logos on the outside. The only logo is here on the inside on this patch. And this is a nice extra compartment that you see in there. And this will also fit something like an iPad. Anything that you want to keep in there separate from the main compartment. It doesn't have a lot of pockets inside. There's just a big space for you to be able to put your essentials for about a 2 or 3 day trip. And what really makes this different is just the quality of the leather on the outside. You'll be able to customize this to whatever color you want. It'll match your shoes, it'll match your belt. And just, it's really nicely done. The handles, you can see I'm going to show you here on the brown. This is the brown one. This one's a little bit overstuffed. You can see the work on the handles over here. See if we can get this to focus. There you go. So it's a really nice piece on the bottom of it. We got this so it doesn't hit the ground, protects the bottom. Overall, a really nice big piece of leather. It'll get you through a nice weekend, a nice little adventure, whatever you want to use it for. And again, that's going to be available on the survey along with the wallets, the card holder, and also the iPad case. Belts, briefcases from last time are also going to be there, and anything that we make in leather, you'll be able to match to your shoes and to your belt. So it'll be a nice collection of leather accessories that you have. Obviously, everything's high quality, super luxurious, really nicely done, and everything is hand done, hand dyed inside of our factory where we make our shoes. Anyways, that's all with the accessories. That's the absolute end out of our walkthrough of our collection. We've gone through the shoes, we've gone through the custom patinas, we've gone through the sneakers, we've gone through the leather accessories. We've kind of gone through all of it, and we're looking forward to putting the survey out there for you guys. We're finishing that up over the next couple of days. Excited to put it out there. A lot of these cool things, a lot of different colors. The colors that you guys chose are going to be on there, so really excited to get your reaction to all of that. Thank you very much for an excellent campaign. We're going to see you soon in the survey.